Yes, mates, how's it going? My name's Lee. Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we'll be going for my team selection for Game Week 2. Stick around to see who I've picked and see the reasons why. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Nice little click down below. Don't be snide, mate. Just do it. Anyway, let's rock and roll. Right, mates, first up, I'm 3.4 mil in the world. I need to start climbing those ranks. My team value has gone up by 0.4 mil. So there's a few players that have gone up ever so slightly. I've still got 0.5 in the bank and I've got one free transfer. No chips this week. I don't see it as a viable option right now. So in the goalkeeper position, I had the choice between Pickford and Matt Turner. I've opted for Matt Turner. The sole reason why I brought him into my team in the first place was to play him in this favourable Game Week 2 fixture up against Sheffield United. They are at home. Forest are a much better team at home. I think they'll defend for their lives. I just don't see Sheffield United causing many teams problems, especially attacking wise. I think they'll keep a clean sheet. I think we will have a good game for Forest, and I think he'll be a good keeper throughout the course of the season. So with Matt Turner being 4 million, it's going to be a very popular bring-in for Game Week 2. You look at a lot of the common first-choice goalkeepers, somebody like a Pickford, tough game away to Villa, Onana, tough game away to Spurs, Johnston, up against Arsenal. You know, there's a lot of tough games. A lot of people will bring Turner in for this Game Week 2 game. If you've got him, I think he's a better choice over probably 90% of the goalkeepers, probably bar the likes of Ramsdale, like if he's guaranteed to start. Edison, Alisson, something like that, but I think Turner is up there for one of the best goalkeepers for this game week. The first defender that I've selected is Purvis Estupinan, and you can see he's now valued at 5.1 million, so this is one of the players that has increased in value, owned by a massive part of the game, 54.9% up against Wolves this week, where he's predicted to get around 4 points. I think that's been a little bit harsh, and I think he can do a lot better than that. They don't keep a lot of clean sheets, but he attacks so well, and if anything, I think this is one of the games where he could keep a clean sheet. Really solid defender, and it's going to be tough to sell him potentially in Game Week 4 when they play United, but with that Bournemouth fixture in Game Week 5, there might be some temptation there just to keep him and try and put him on the bench and try and rotate my team. Like if you look at my two bench options of Colwill and Udoja, there is potential for me there to just rotate and keep him in for that Game Week 6 fixture up, up against Bournemouth, rather than waste transfers, bringing him in, taking him out, all that kind of stuff. Keep him on the bench, and then I've always got him in in reserve, ready to go, because even after the Bournemouth game, they've still got some decent fixtures coming up, and you really want to keep transferring in and out defenders. It's not something I want to do. I don't want to waste transfers on defenders, and Estupinan might be one of those where you just keep him for the full season. Onto my second defender, and it's really easy one for me. I've gone for Ben Chilwell. I had him on my bench for Game Week 1. In hindsight, I should have started him over someone like an Udoji, but I had that gut feeling, and sometimes you just got to go with it. Another one of those defenders that I've gone up by 0.1 million, so he's currently valued at 5.6. So if you did want to upgrade a 5 million defender and you've only got 0.5 in the bank, you've missed the chance. You're going to have to do something else about it and maybe make a double substitution in Game Week 3. Great, unbelievable set of fixtures. After this West Ham game is a bit of a sticky game for them, but Luton, Forest, but Villa, even after that Villa game, they've got a really, really nice run of games. So attacking, he's basically playing like the left forward, like the left wing. He was so far out the pitch, so they play with a back five with two wing backs of Chilwell and James. Colwell is the left centre back. He pushes out to almost like a left back. Chilwell just pushes right up the pitch and does whatever he wants to do. Doesn't really get in a lot of he doesn't get involved in a lot of the build up play, but he's there in the attacking third. Goals, assists. I think he's going to be a beast if he stays fit this season. And if you don't have him, I'd really consider how you're going to get him in your team for Game Week 3. And my final defender is William Saliba. I always had Saliba in my drafts. In pre-season, it looks like it's the right choice right now. If you've got a Gabriel, don't transfer him out, leave him in there, get one more week of information, see how it goes, and then maybe try and upgrade someone like a Reece James as opposed to a Chilwell if you haven't quite got the money. But Saliba, he's still got a couple good games in Palace away, Fulham at home, Everton away, and then a United Spurs mixed in there as well. Great option, owned by about 21% of the game. Still think he's a solid player. Really, really, really good defender for them, and I think he'll be a mainstay for the majority of the season for them. And as long as he stays fit, I think they've got a chance of having a really, really good season. So I think he's more important than someone like a Gabriel, just because of his ball playing ability and his calmness. Onto the midfielders, and none other than Marcus Rashford. Not a great performance up against Wolves, but he's not a number 9, and I keep banging on about this all the time. He cannot play number 9. He cannot play with his back to goal, and unfortunately, I think he's going to have to do it again up against Spurs. But Spurs will play with a really, really high line. Hopefully, we can exploit it. I'd like to see us play with 2 more sitting traditional defensive midfielders, and maybe have someone like Bruno or Mount just in front and doing whatever they want. I think we'll have a slight change in not so much formation but personnel in there as well. I can see either Mount or Bruno playing on one of the wings. I can see Sancho coming in ahead of Garnacho, but I can see Rashford having a pretty good game against Spurs. I do think he's got a decent record against them as well, and hopefully if we do get that ball in behind and he exploits that space, it could cause some real problems for them. And like we saw what Brentford did against them when they could exploit that space in behind, and I think Rashford's the perfect player to do it. Like if you've got players like Bruno and you've got players like Mount who can pick that pass, then Spurs are going to have to be on the guard to watch for that pass over the top, because he could run absolute havoc. He's got a really great run of fixtures, and even the Arsenal game in the middle away, just the way Rashford plays is so explosive. Like he's such a goal scorer that I don't think any fixture is out the realm of possibility of him hauling in, and that's the reason why, in my opinion, all of Rashford's fixtures for the foreseeable and future are actually green fixtures, are very good fixtures for Rashford. But I don't like him as a 9. The sooner Højlund is fit and firing and ready to go, Rashford can move to the left wing, and then that's when we're going to start seeing the real Rashford come out and play. The second midfielder is Eberechi Eze. Really unlucky in the first game up against Sheffield United. Like he racked up a huge amount of goal involvement for that game. In game week 2, they've got Arsenal at home, and although I see this as a harder game than something like a Sheffield United, I don't think it's difficult for someone like an Eze. Like he's always capable of the unexpected, of the unknown on penalties. He's on set pieces. Like there's always a chance that someone like Eze could return even in these types of games, and even after this one, Brentford, Wolves, Villa, Fulham, you can see expected points underneath there as well. Like he's always expected to get in and around 4 or 5 points in every single game. Like he's always expected to do something because he's such a good player. The expectation is so high for him to do something. That's the reason why he's in my team over someone like a Colwell, who might have the slightly better fixture, but with Eze's attacking potential, he has to be in my team. This is the reason why I've chosen him. I knew Arsenal was coming up, and I didn't mind. I could have gone for someone like an Mbumo, who probably had easier, better fixtures. I wanted someone like Eze. Like I wanted that talisman to come in and do the business for me. On to the next midfielder, and it's Phil Foden. Bit of a risky one for me. I don't know if he's going to play. The Super Cup is tonight. Like, let's see if he plays. Let's see if Alvarez plays. Like, let's see what the starting lineup. With KDB injury news, they've got a severe lack of attacking options. We've only got something like 6-7 options for those 5 attacking and positions, and that's City like to field. So I think there's a real possibility that Foden could start for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, and hopefully I'm on the positive end of that and actually get some decent returns for him. I do believe Foden has a very good goal scoring record against Newcastle. I think he's scored in the past 2 or 3 games against them. Hopefully he continues that. Like he's someone like an Eze where he's always expected to get around 4 or 5 points, so he's always expected to do something within the game, but whether he actually does or not remains to be seen. They played Burnley away in the last game. It was a bit of a punt for me last minute. I heard he was starting. I had Maddison in the team. I went for last minute Foden punt. Obviously didn't pay off, but if I have that same information again and I've got Maddison in my team, I'm still going to go Foden. Like a Man City attacker up against a newly promoted team, even if that is Burnley, they scored 3 goals and he wasn't involved at all. Like it's just one of those. Like another game, Foden runs absolute riot and gets either a couple assists or a goal or something like that. But after Newcastle game, look at those fixtures: Sheffield United, Fulham, West Ham, Forest, and even after that, they've got a really good run. So I was trying to get another City attacker in there, and if I could have got a 3, then I'd do it. Whether Alvarez becomes an option, I'm not entirely sure. Are you considering Alvarez for your team right now? Leave a comment down below. Let me know your reasons why you are thinking of someone like Alvarez or Foden. Saka is up next, and he's another player that went up by 0.1 million. So he's now valued at 8.6, owned by a huge percent, 64.7%. We all know what he can do. He's on penalties, he's on some set pieces, great run of games, Forest, Palace, Fulham, Everton, even the United game in there. I've spoke about Saka up against Shaw in the past. I think he'll rip us apart. I think he'll rip Shaw apart, and I've got no issues playing Saka in that Man United game. I don't see him taking out my team anytime soon, even when Arsenal's fixtures do kind of turn for the worst. I don't see me taking out Saka. What we all experienced it last season when we started taking out all the Arsenal boys, like the likes of Martinelli, Odegaard, Saka, and they just kept returning it over and over again. With the likes of Saliba now being fit, with the additions of Rice and Havertz, they've got a stronger squad depth. But I don't see Saka ever coming off early. He's just so talismanic for them. He's just an absolute beast, and he's just playing every single week for as far as I'm concerned. My last midfielder is Bruno Fernandes. Got Spurs away. 8.5 million midfielder, owned by 26.8% of the game, and his predicted points underneath his fixture on the right hand side there, a little bit generous, I think. Didn't look great against Wolves. He was quite reserved in his attacking aspects of his game. Although he played a nice pass to Wan-Bissaka, who eventually got the assist. You don't get assist to the assist of assist. You know what I'm saying? So one of those. I think he'll be asked to play a slightly more reserved role in that Spurs game, almost like a quarterback. Like I think he might be the one that's sacrificed either to play on the wing or sit a bit deeper with Casemiro. But if that's the case, hopefully he's the one dinking the ball over the top to Rashford in behind the defence, so Rashford can go on and start bagging those goals. Still a good option. We've still got Forest and Burnley in the next 5, but it might be a case that I transfer Bruno out in game week 4 for someone like a Maddison, where their fixtures get really good, or like one of the Chelsea midfielders, like whether it's like a Mudryk or even someone like a Sterling. Although Sterling hasn't looked great, he might become an option at some point. Just keep an open mind, see what happens, and just keep your transfers open and kind of ready to go. The first of my 2 forwards is Ollie Watkins with Everton at home. He's predicted to get 5.6 points in that game. He's owned by about a quarter of the game so far, and even after the Everton game, he's got the likes of Burnley and Palace, and like within those next 5 fixtures. What a player! He's so talismanic for them. Like even in the Newcastle game, like he could have still returned. I think they racked up something like about 2 XG, and even though they got spanked 5-1, and Villa still could have scored a couple of goals in that game. And whatever Villa do, it always revolves around Watkins. Although I do think Diaby will become a very, very good option at some point. I would like a bit more information for now, and their fixtures do turn again in the future, so it might not be a great time to bring in someone like Diaby right now. But I think we, at some point within the season, we will have a Diaby and Watkins double up. Keep it in mind, great player, but be open to dropping him down to a cheaper forward so you can upgrade that midfield. That's so many great options. And last but not least, we've got Haaland at home to Newcastle. Haaland at home is just a different beast. Like we saw it last season. His XG at home is unreal. That's the reason why he's my captain. I still think if you've got Salah, I think Salah is an equally good captain. I'd probably put him at 50-50. But he's just an absolute beast. Like you look at his... Like if you look at his expected points there compared to the rest of the players, everyone else is around 4 to 6 expected points per game. Haaland's 8, 9, even 10.2 in the game against Forest at home in game week 6. Absolute animal, owned by literally everybody in the game. Too much of a risk for me to captain anybody else because Haaland's going to be very heavily captained. If I captain anybody else and Haaland bangs, the amount of people that are going to get more points than that, especially considering I didn't have the greatest game week 1 overall points, then not worth the rest for me. Easy Haaland captain moving forward for the foreseeable future, actually. Like unless anything else comes up, Haaland captain every single week for me. A little bit boring, but perma captain it is. What can you do about it? Right, mates, that's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed. So today went for my team selection for game week 2. Spoke about the different players that I've selected and the reasons why. Even touched on a couple of different transfer targets and things we can do moving forward. So if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, tell your mum, tell your postman, tell your dog. Anyway, have a good day. Peace and love.